Well, everybody needs to sit somewhere, and Dave got here last, so he gets to sit in the missing seat. Thank you.
Should probably move this over until it's my turn to talk, right? So
Do you not want it right next to you?
Freshman. Oh, yeah, this is my son. Yeah. Is she your oldest? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I tried to give advance notice, and I think maybe it got confusing because you were on the eve of a meeting.
Why does everyone sit in the back row still? What's going on? No one sits up front. You know? It's like teenagers.
If everybody could find a seat, please. Winnie, are we all ready? Okay. The board met tonight in executive session, actually, and we'll meet again after the meeting in exec session, but we're now ready to go into the public portion of the meeting. There have been no communications since our last meeting, which was February 13th. The president's report, I'll try to make it quick because this is a night of celebration and we need to begin that celebration, but we will start with some very good news about my friend, the superintendent. On February 22nd, Dirk Phillips was recognized by Montclair State University's College for Education and Engaged Learning. The agenda for education in a democracy for his deep commitment to children, stewardship and advocacy for social justice and equity in public schools. The award Dirk received at the college's gratitude celebration was presented by Marilyn Davis, the Director of Education, Innovation, and Strategic Partnerships. Glen Ridge principals Matt Murphy, Joe Caravella, and Lauren Baz, our school counselor from the Ridgewood Avenue School, were present for the award. And Matt Murphy noted the recognition was well-deserved considering Dirk's leadership in and commitment to our district's MSU, NE, and Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion partnership with Montclair State. So congratulations, Dirk, and I think that merits a round of applause. Now, the superintendent search, I'll give you a brief update. As you know, we received a total of 62 resumes. This is my fourth superintendent search, and I will tell you that that pool of candidates was the most diverse we've ever seen. The Personnel Committee interviewed 18 candidates in the first round and 8 in the second round. We've chosen finalists who will be interviewed by the full board, and we expect the deliberations to come by the 12th. We are right on schedule. The full board has reviewed the results of the survey sent out to the entire community, as well as the results of the focus group interviews conducted by our attorney, Jennifer Osborne, who's here with us tonight. All of the feedback will factor into our final decision. Tonight, you'll see on your agenda, we're accepting the retirements of 2 longtime district employees, Paula Ely, who's a teacher at Ridgewood Avenue, and Kathy Saccone, who is right now administrative assistant at Forest and formerly worked at the high school. Both of them I have known for a long time. They've been valued members of our staff. They've touched the lives of so many students, generations of students, so many of their fellow faculty members, so many administrators. It's always hard to say goodbye, and we don't have to do it right now because they'll be with us until June, but it is a bittersweet moment when we lose long-term employees like Paula and Kathy. And finally, the board, in keeping with one of our board goals, which is reaffirming our relationship with the borough of Glen Ridge, several of us, Jocelyn, Kristen, and I, met with Mayor Debbie Mans, who is new in office as of January, and council people Lori Jean Moody and Rebecca Meyer. And we discussed, it was a get-acquainted meeting, really, but we discussed a number of items that included the council's new focus on traffic and pedestrian safety, which you've noticed new stop signs, better lights, lots of orange cones all over town. That's all part of the council's initiative to improve pedestrian safety. We talked about town and district cooperation, including the memorandum of agreement, which defines the relationship between the district and the Glen Ridge Police Department. We talked about communications and how to better coordinate town and district outreach. And we also talked about recreation, including field usage and maintenance and possible future plans in those areas. And finally, with regard to staffing shortages, which is a concern for us and a concern across the state, a large package of bills designed to help address the school staffing crisis is making its way somewhat slowly through the legislature. Among those heard most recently include measures to provide student loan redemption for some teachers in high demand areas, remove obstacles to teacher certification, which is, for some of you in the know, the praxis test of basic skills, establish a database of novice teachers in DOE, and require DOE to hold job fairs, establish student teacher scholarship programs, and establish a task force to study the current teacher evaluation system and make recommendations for the future. So there is movement. As you know, the budget, the governor's budget proposal has been made, and now as always in New Jersey, the governor proposes and the legislature disposes. So we are now at the time when the legislature puts its heads together about the budget, interviews cabinet department heads, and finally by June, one hopes they will come up with a final budget. And that is the president's report.
Thank you, Betsy. I also want to start off by recognizing our two future retirees. Paula Ely is a special education teacher at Ridgewood Avenue and has been with us since April 2004. And Kathy Saccone started at the high school as an administrative assistant in September of 2001 and is now at Forest Avenue School. I've had the pleasure of working with both individuals. When I was here at the high school, I worked with Kathy, and when I was principal at Ridgewood Avenue School, I worked with Paula. Outstanding individuals, impactful, dedicated to their schools and to education. They will be missed. I wish them the best in the next 4 months and after, once they retire. We will say more about them in our June meeting when we honor all our retirees. And at this time, I'd like to recognize our Governor Educators of the Year. So I'm going to call up the principals to say some words about their honorees. I just want to talk about the process a little bit. This is a process, and it's a great honor to be nominated, yet even a bigger honor to be recognized as the Educator of the Year in your building. We take nominations from teachers, from students, from parents. Once we gather all those nominations, they go in front of a committee. The committee then decides who will be the award winner, and we notify the award winner. And the Educator of the Year, the Teacher of the Year, can then apply to be the County Teacher of the Year and go on then to become the State Teacher of the Year. So they have that opportunity to go on and be recognized even further. When I look at this group of educators, I'm just amazed by the work that they do day in and day out, and how much they give to their students and to their school and to their parents and to their community. And I couldn't ask for a better group of individuals to be recognized. So I'm pleased to be part of this ceremony tonight. And I'm going to call up Dr. Harris to first recognize the Central Avenue School recipients.
Superintendent Phillips, and all of you gathered here. It is my great honor to say a lot about some really great people that I have at Central School. The first, I'll start off with our Teacher of the Year, Miss Rachel Patterson. Would you stand, please? going to totally embarrass you. Great. Former Linden Lion and now a Central Cheetah, Ms. Patterson, a 7-year teacher, has mastered the art of humility and excellence under pressure. She is a natural leader, and she sets the bar high, whether in teaching her colleagues how to administer tests, writing grants, and/or providing her expertise after and before school. She is a creator of school initiatives such as the Diversity Pillars, and she gives wings to programming and incentive programs such as regulations for the bookworm vending machine. She is positive, she is reliable, she is a good ear for me to pour into and to kick around ideas and to have her answer truthfully. She is fully capable, generous in her spirit and in her nature. Students, they love her. Colleagues respect her. Ignorance fears her. And parents put bids in with me to get her. She is mighty with the pen and the book. She is fierce in her instruction, and she is owed the honor. And Central School, no, Glenridge School District, is better because of her. I present to you our Teacher of the Year at Central School, Miss Rachel Patterson. Next, I'm going to embarrass you too. Our Educational Services Professional of the Year, Miss Laura Fitzpatrick. Would you stand, please? Firefly, lion, cheetah, she is a superhero indeed, and she's able to counsel, correct, soothe students, and bring peace to colleagues. You can find her navigating sensitive issues with grace and expertise, all the while keeping her pulse on parent concerns, keeping confidentiality, keeping her principals informed, and providing compassionate, generous support. Her guidance has stopped tears, has repaired broken relationships, and redefined what it means to be at all places, at all times, knowing all things, and doing them all well. She is tireless, and she is multifaceted as she runs lunch bunches, parent book clubs, does individual counseling, runs meetings, and provides meaningful support. Patient, efficient, professional, approachable, wonderful, and creative. Ms. Fitzpatrick leaps school over school over school without dropping any of us. We love you at Central School, and you are worthy of this honor. Congratulations, Ms. Fitzpatrick, our Educational Services Professional of the Year. I love you. Thank you.
Mr. Murphy?
Good evening, everyone. I'm here to talk about our GEOY winners for Forest Avenue School. Our Teacher of the Year for 2023-24 is Mrs. Michelle Kanaski. She's in the back there. Give her a wave. She is one of our grade 2 teachers. Mrs. Kanaski is currently on leave due to the birth of her beautiful son, Parker, who didn't make it tonight. But Mrs. Kanaski, this is her second time being selected for this award in the past 3 years, and it's well-deserved. She consistently receives nominations from both her parents and from her colleagues. She's a deeply caring person, a very helpful colleague, a technology whiz, a tireless worker, and a creative problem solver who has become critical to our school's success for many years now. Her students love her because of the genuine motivating relationships that she can create with each child. And her students' parents love that their children are so happy at school, which is so important. So congratulations to Michelle Kanaski. Okay, our Forest Avenue School Governor's Educator of the Year in the Educational Services Professional category is Gail Gugliuzza, a special education paraprofessional. She goes by Miss G, and she received numerous nominations from colleagues and parents as a result of her professionalism and commitment to being a reliable, consistent, and compassionate presence to both her students and to her colleagues. Although Gail has been with us for a few years, she's probably our youngest staff member. Yet she presents like a savvy veteran, unfazed when things get a little crazy, and she brings a perfect, calm, collected demeanor for working with children, both on their good days and also on the days when they're having some strong feelings. We're all excited that Ms. G is being acknowledged for her contributions to the Forest Avenue School community. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you for the introduction, Mr. Phillips. Appreciate that.
Right? Can you believe it? Thank you. The principals, we all discussed about making our speeches very brief. So I thank you, Matt and Keisha, for following that. I have two versions. I have a short version. I have a long version. Either version, our teachers are outstanding. You guys all deserve congratulations. I'm here to talk about two great staff members at Linden. I'll start with Carla Kurz, who is our Governor Educator Teacher of the Year. When I think of Carla, I think of some words like calm, cool, and collected. And this is a pre-K teacher we're talking about. She's pleasant, has an outstanding vocal tone, and pleasant disposition with our youngest children. She's inspiring to our students, and she is a great colleague. She really is the ultimate pre-K teacher. She's 13 years with us at Linden, 12 as a pre-K teacher, 1 as a para, and she was even a student teacher with us in first grade with Mrs. Maya. She's amazing with every single student, and she treats each child as if he or she was her own. We are so happy and proud of her that she won this well-deserved award. Bravo to Carla. Come on up, Carla. Good job. Congratulations. Our Educational Support Services staff member who won this award this year is our very own Joanne Prusak. Give Joanne a big round of applause. When I think of Joanne, I think of hardworking, engaging, a great colleague, creative and unique, and musical. Right, Joanne? 10 years as a para with Linden Avenue School, 3 years as a substitute teacher in our district, 20 years as a Glen Ridge resident. Give her a round of applause for that. A former Linden parent, and two students, two children were Linden Lions, came through our school. And Halinka's here watching with us today. Give them a round of applause. She became trained as a registered behavior technician to help collecting data and delivering behavior plans to our students in our special education program. She's involved in after-school activities such as our discovery class, where she teaches, of course, dance and music to the students. She says that she finds joy coming to work every day, and we absolutely love working with her. Paws up to Joanne. Come on up, Joanne.
Dr. Donovan from Ridgewood Avenue School.
Thank you for the introduction.
My pleasure. I won't forget about you.
For the audience, I am keenly aware I don't think this microphone is doing anything for you to hear, so I will just speak a little bit louder. Ridgewood Avenue School, we have a staff of about 70, and tonight I get to talk about two of the very top staff members that we have. I'm going to start off with Sharon Smith, who is our Educator Services Professional Winner of the Year. Sharon is the LDTC in our building, a member of the Child Study Team. It was about 5 years ago that I got an email from Jessica Mahaffey. Jess is a PE teacher here at the high school, and the email simply said, "My sister is going to be working with you. You better be nice to her." Sharon began, and she was just an amazing person to work with, so easy to be nice to. She is a veteran educator, but a brand new LDTC. You would never know it. She is extremely knowledgeable. She is so dedicated to the students. Rebecca is here tonight, and Rebecca will confirm that the entire building makes their way in and out of her office all day long. She is someone that they stop by to for advice, someone who that they know will do whatever she can for the students. We are so lucky to have Sharon. Her family is here tonight. I often say that I judge parents by their children. She has two great kids, Ella and Colin, who we've gotten to know at Ridgewood Avenue just through Bring Your Kids to Work days. She's not just a great LDTC, she is a great mom. What else can I say about Sharon? Sharon is the only person that I have ever worked with that I have had the opportunity to say, stay focused to. Anyone who knows me and who works with me would understand that that's not something typical that I would say. And the reason that I often have to say stay focused to Sharon is because we will talk about a student, we will talk about a program, we will talk about an issue, and within that conversation, she will talk about 5 other kids, 5 other programs, and 5 other issues, because Sharon is always thinking about ways to make things better and to solve things. We are so lucky to have her. She is an amazing LDTC. I am lucky to be her leader, and I am lucky to be her friend, Sharon Smith. Next up, for our Educator of the Year, we have Samantha Odell. Now, Sharon was able to bring her family tonight. Samantha is married to an accountant. And so anyone who knows an accountant knows that he will rarely be seen until after April 15th. But instead, Samantha has brought her school family, including her school mom, who is a retired Ridgewood Avenue teacher. And I highlight that just for you to understand that Samantha is a very important person to so many people in our building, whether they're there or have since moved on. What stood out the most about Samantha's nomination is the fact that she was nominated by current students, former students, and colleagues. Last year, when Nathan passed away, several of the students at the Glen Ridge High School in the weeks right after his death were coming over to Ridgewood Avenue School, and they were heading down to Samantha's room. Sometimes they were there for a couple hours, and all of a sudden, 1 month and 2 months and 3 months and 4 months went by, and I was watching these kids. They kept coming back, and they wanted to and they needed to spend time with a teacher who that they had, who they respected, who was there to listen to them. And Samantha did all of that, not just last year, but continued that as well this year. Whenever we talk about teaching, and we talk about teachers who are focused on academics and teachers who are focused on SEL, Samantha Odell has managed to master both of them together at the same time. She is a master of her craft, and she is a master at social emotional learning. She's an early bird the way that I am, so I look forward to our 7 a.m. chats. I wish Ryland, her daughter, was here tonight, but she is younger and in bed. Another great example of a great mother and just a great person. Another staff member who I am lucky to lead and call a friend, Samantha Odell.
High school principal John Lawler.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips, and good evening, everybody. I am honored and privileged tonight to present two of our all-stars at the middle high school. There's so much to say about Brian and Jill, but what I can say is there's a connection and a common thread that really kind of defines who they are, and it is really the care they have for our students and the relationships they have formed with them during their time here at the high school. We received 17 nominations for teachers, so we have a building of about 85 teachers, so we get great feedback from the community, from parents, from students, and staff. And when we are meeting as a committee, we kind of talk about what are some of the qualities that we look for teachers in our building, and ones that are innovative. They engage our students, they again care about their students. Brian fits that mold, right? He first of all, is tremendously versatile. He has 7th graders. He teaches 7th grade social studies, but then he also teaches AP classes at the high school. All right, inclusion classes and AP. He's got the full range, and that's a really credit to his talent and his ability. He's been with us for 18 years, but this year was a little bit different in terms of our nominees. And many times it's the moment that defines who the person is and how they respond to that moment. And Dr. Donovan did mention we had a loss this past year. We lost Nathan, one of our dear students. And through this time, Brian has met that moment. He's been a rock for our students, for his colleagues. And it's really it's been remarkable to see. And the amount of respect that I have for what he's done, and he's always been there for our students and his colleagues. I just wanted to share one of the responses that came in. It's nice to hear the feedback from the people that nominated our staff. The boys soccer team suffered 2 unimaginable losses last year. The way he's still shepherding those kids through the losses has been a beautiful thing to witness. His willingness to emotionally dive deep with the boys and any student who needs it and discuss the importance of mental health will only provide lasting benefits to them. He has been there for each child that needs him and reaches them where they are, realizing how differently each child handles trauma. So it is with tremendous pride that I present our Teacher of the Year, Brian Annie. So one of the initiatives that Brian has helped start in Jill's been with us for 15 years. Much like Brian, again, a very tremendously versatile and talented counselor. She's been a high school counselor. She's been a middle school counselor. She is now moving into a new role called a Tier 2 counselor, where she works with students in grades 7 through 12, or more needier students that need more support both academically and socially. And then just beyond just being a school counselor here during the day, she's involved in many different clubs and activities, so her impact is very far-reaching. I mentioned Cash, but she's also a peer leadership advisor. She runs our National Honor Society, our Sharing the Arts program, and has also helped some students found what's called a wellness committee. From the comments, she has always been professional, thoughtful, kind, and no matter how busy she may be, she always makes time to focus on whatever issue is at hand. She always listens extensively to fully understand the concern before offering potential solutions, which she does not push, but instead offers in an open and caring way. So with that, I'd just like to say, Jill, well-deserved. Congratulations.
Congratulations once again to all our recipients. You want to release?
Yes, we hope that you will all stay around for the budget, but we realize that some of you may have other engagements. If you do, this would be a good time to leave us. But as I say, the budget is fascinating, and you should stay around. Fascinating that Barbara can stretch the dollars. Thank goodness we're not losing our
That's what we should ask.
She was right next to the auditorium.
Yeah, no, it's the middle. Glen from the side.
Yeah, kids never know their teachers' names. You know what I mean? Like, I can think of my sixth grade teacher's name.
Seriously, I still remember my third grade teacher's name.
Sixth grade was Miss Zabrowski. She thought I was troublesome.
That's because I already did it. I was thinking, because he's home and doesn't do.
Okay, so tonight we're presenting the tentative budget for the 24-25 school year.
not sure the mic is on.
Each year we review the budget process. We meet with the Finance and Facilities Committee throughout the year to review the finances. Our budget calendar is posted on our website with important dates. The date for adopting the tentative budget, which is tonight, and the public hearing date are also listed on our website and also advertised in the newspapers. And the detail of the tentative budget is advertised in the Star Ledger prior to the public hearing. The administrators meet throughout the school year to review their academic, personnel, supply, and facilities needs. The preliminary budget is voted on by the board tonight, March 5th. After board approval, it's submitted to the county for approval. The Finance Committee continues to meet on the budget. April 30th is our public hearing, and the final budget will be voted on by the Board of Ed at that meeting. After board approval, it's submitted to the county for final approval. Our tentative budget revenues. Our budget revenues include $2,038,806 in budgeted fund balance. We plan to withdraw $162,673 from capital reserve to finance wireless upgrades on the first floor of the high school and district-wide upgrades to our door access control system. These projects are smaller than last year's projects of the high school cafeteria roof and HVAC upgrades, so the withdrawal from capital reserve is down 70%. Our local tax levy will be $34,151,690, which represents a 2.24% increase over last year's. Our tuition revenue is up about $50,000 due to an increase in non-resident enrollment. Our miscellaneous revenues are up 12%, mainly due to an increase in interest income. Our state aid increased by $180,233, or about 8%. And the total general fund budget year-over-year increase is just 0.73%, or less than 1%. So our tax levy revenue supports the majority of our budget. It's about 86% of our total revenues. Our state aid makes up 6% of our budget, and our budgeted fund balance makes up 5%. A withdrawal from capital reserve represents 0.4%, and tuition we receive accounts for 1.9% of our revenues. Our tentative budget appropriations. Here we're comparing the current 23-24 budget with the 24-25 proposed budget expenditures, and we're showing the percent change. Salary increases are spread throughout almost all of the lines. The amount spent on regular ed instruction is the largest at $13,956,000. Special ed instruction is at $2,298,000, and that includes a part-time special ed teacher that was previously funded by the ARP grant. Instruction other BSI, that includes basic skills instruction and bilingual education, and that has an increase of 17%, and that's because we have added a part-time multilingual learner teacher here. Co-curriculars and athletics have a small increase, and that includes a new volleyball program. Tuition to out-of-district placements remains steady. Support services includes health services, related services such as speech, OT, PT, extraordinary services, guidance, child study team, library media, and teacher staff training. That's up 8% as we have added a part-time library media specialist at the high school here, which was previously funded by the ARP grant, and 2 new registered behavior technicians. And administration remains steady. Maintenance and operations, transportation, and employee benefits each increase a little less than 4%. Our capital outlay is decreased by 60% compared to 23-24, as high school cafeteria HVAC upgrades and roof replacements were budgeted in 23-24, and we have some smaller projects budgeted here in 24-25. Our total general fund, including capital outlay, increases by 0.73%, and our tax levy increase is 2.24%. So our salaries and benefits make up 78% of our budget. This is common for New Jersey school districts. The salaries are spread throughout the pie and included as part of all of the categories with the exception of tuition, capital outlay, and employee benefits. Regular ed instruction makes up 35% of our budget. Special ed instruction makes up 7%. Other instruction 1%. Co-curriculars and athletics 2.7%. Tuition to send our students to out-of-district placements is 5% of our budget. Support services 12.2%. Administration 10.1%. Maintenance and operations 7.6%. Transportation 3%. Employee benefits almost 15%. And capital outlay is 1.2%. Our year-over-year budget increases. These are items that were not included in last year's budget. A registered behavior technician is a paraprofessional who's certified in behavioral analysis. We are adding 2 of these as they are called for in students' individualized educational plans, or IEPs. 2 positions that were funded previously through the ARP grant are being added to our general fund budget: the part-time high school librarian and the part-time special ed teacher at Central School. Our English second language ESL student numbers have increased, so we are adding a part-time multilingual learner teacher. We're also adding the volleyball program and an advisor for the English Honor Society. Our capital outlay and projects. Promethean boards, $40,000 towards new playground equipment at Linden Avenue School. Flooring in the main hallway at Forest Avenue School. 2 copier replacements at the high school. Walk-in refrigerator and freezer repairs at the high school. Stairwell, treads, risers, and landing repairs. A chain link fence around the dumpster at the high school. Classroom flooring at Ridgewood Avenue School. Upgrades to our door access control system. A wireless upgrade at the high school. Security video monitors for cameras. And the debt service assessment, which we have to pay every year to the state. The budget includes staff and salary stipend cuts of $130,207. The tax impact of the general tax levy on the average house, assessed at $672,540, is projected to increase taxes by $261.60 for the year, or $21.80 a month. And our public hearing on the budget is scheduled for April 30th, at which time the budget will be adopted.
Thank you, Barbara. Board members, do you have any questions for Barbara?
No, it's not a question. I just wanted to thank you for all this great work. To my colleagues on the board, thank you for trusting those of us on the Finance and Facilities Committee. And as the 4 of us know, Barbara is accurate, transparent, a tireless worker, and it was not as easy as she makes it look. I can just tell you that. Through the process, we've met several times, twice just in the last 2 weeks, I think, and it was not as easy as she made it look. The numbers right up to the minute did not look like they would come in quite as well as they did. So thanks, as always, for your great work on this, Barbara.
Thank you.
Absolutely. In a moment, we'll have time for public comment. Any other board member questions?
All right, I'm going to continue on with my report, and I do want to comment on the budget. First of all, thank you, Barbara, and the Finance Committee. The budget is an extremely difficult process, and I'm going to tell a little bit different story than Barbara, who throws out a lot of numbers. You know, maybe the mathematician in me tells the numbers a little bit different. We have a 2% tax levy. That means we can only raise our amount roughly $650,000 a year. $650,000 a year. Our increase in salaries and benefits are $850,000 a year. So right now, right from the start, we're $200,000 in the hole. Then when we start including positions that are needed, mandated, or maintaining positions that we funded through grant money, that's an additional $300,000. So we're now $550,000 in the hole, and that does not include costs, increased costs in software licensing, energy, supplies, or program improvements. When we started our initial budgets with those items included, we were roughly $1 million in the hole. We reviewed, we were searching, we were scrutinizing, we were prioritizing, we were praying for additional funds to make this budget meet, the ends meet. Fortunately, we're able to present a budget where our students can continue to have outstanding academic experiences and have meaningful experiences beyond the classroom. Not everything's in here that we want, and the administrators will be the first one to tell you. They had a lot of items in here that they asked for that couldn't get in there. There's items in here that I would have liked to seen in here that are not in here. That's just the reality of education. We can't get everything we want. We do the best, we prioritize, and we make difficult decisions. So I want to thank everyone for being a part of that process. I know tonight we have some parents here from Ridgewood Avenue School that want to talk about the Spanish program. I will say in this budget, there are 2 part-time teachers that are budgeted for Ridgewood Avenue Spanish program. Ridgewood Avenue needs 2 Spanish teachers in order to meet the scheduled demands in that building. 1 teacher, 1 full-time teacher, you cannot schedule Spanish. We are starting this search process 2 months earlier than we did last year. We're going to attend job fairs, and we're going to get an early jump on candidates, something we weren't able to do last year. We also recognize that there's a shortage of teachers, especially in world language. New Jersey colleges are telling us that there's a lack of teaching candidates that are causing the shortages and causing some programs in their colleges to close down. Last year, Montclair State University, which has a strong teacher program, did not graduate 1 Spanish teacher candidate. So we recognize that there's an issue. We recognize that we must move quickly on this matter. We already have the posting up, and we're starting that process. Dr. Donovan and I have met to discuss our option. Our first option, as I mentioned, is 2 part-time Spanish teachers. We're definitely going to be more diligent in switching paths if we're not going to see success right away in filling those positions, with keeping in mind that our priority is to get live instruction. If we have to switch our path, we will discuss those options and what that means as far as impact to our budget. Again, I want to thank Barbara and the Finance Committee for everything they've done.
Dirk, just to be clear, the part-time teachers do not teach 50%, right?
No, they're going to be at, I believe, at 2/3, roughly at 2/3 each.
And that's why a full-time teacher, it's more than one teacher can handle.
Correct. It's more than 1 teacher can handle because of the number of classes, but even if you are able, it's also a scheduling conflict. Scheduling is if you're not in that world of education, you don't understand how complex it could be. Scheduling is centered around really 3 things at the elementary level: special education, math, and language arts. And then you schedule around those 3 things. There's a number of times in Ridgewood Avenue that there's 2 Spanish classes that are going on simultaneously at different grade levels. All right, with that, I'm going to talk about just a few updates we have in the district. The high school did announce their valedictorian and salutatorian. So Raji, I'd like to congratulate as the valedictorian of the high school, and Juliet Limpori as the salutatorian. We will also recognize them later in the year. I know there's a lot of celebrations that will happen for them in the next few months, several dinners. They will be highlighted as they should be. It's an immense honor to be named valedictorian and salutatorian in this school district. Their GPAs, we can only imagine how high they are, and the course load and the effort that they took on in order to achieve this honor. So congratulations to them. Winter sports season recently ended, and our teams had an outstanding season. Our boys and girls basketball team had a run in the sectionals. The boys made it to the semifinals, and the girls made it to the sectional finals. The hockey team made it to the playoffs, and they won the Kelly championship. And the game went into 5 overtimes, which is I can't imagine how exhausted they were at 5 overtimes. I'm mentioning that next week is the New Jersey GPA, which is the 11th grade assessment exam for the state, a graduation assessment. And also on Saturday is the SATs. I typically don't mention about SAT tests, but this is the first time the SATs are digital. So for our students, this will be a new experience for them. The middle school musical is in 2 weeks, and the following week is the high school musical. And we're in the midst of scheduling for next school year. There's been class meetings, and the guidance counselors are meeting with students either in small groups or individually to look at their course recommendations and to schedule their courses. This will go on for the next couple months, and then the high school administration will start looking at sectioning classes for next year and then start running the program probably in mid-May, and hopefully have something close to being done in May, and then really in June start putting everything together for move-up day. At the elementary level, we have parent-teacher conferences coming up, and just as a reminder, those are the afternoon conferences, so students will be dismissed early. I believe letters went out to the parents or emails. The Ridgewood Avenue had their spelling bee last week. I'm going to be inviting those students, the winners of the spelling bees, in on our next board meeting to recognize them. Linden Avenue had their science fair. I saw the pictures from the flyer, Joe. They looked like an awesome event. And on Friday, we sent out assignments for the incoming pre-K. We gave them building assignments, and we're working on next year's kindergarten placement. And what big news we got from the state, the ROD is a regular operating district, and a ROD grant is related to a facility project which we put in, and they fund 40% of the project, and we got approval for our phase 2 of the HVAC project at the high school, so that will allow us to move forward with that. And just some upcoming events in the next month. We remain busy here in the district. Stay active and pay attention to all the flyers that come out through your email. There's plenty to do with concerts and plays and musicals going on, and enjoy your time here.
Okay, thank you, Dirk. It is now time for the first public comment period for comments or questions on agenda items only. If you have a question or comment, please step up to our lovely new lectern, sign in, confirm your Glen Ridge residency. You'll have 2 minutes to speak. If you have something in writing, please give it to Mrs. Murphy so that we can enter it into the record. And Kristen, will you keep time? Yes. Okay, does anyone have a question or comment? And I should say, when you come up to the lectern, speak loudly and clearly so the board can hear you, the audience can hear you, and the people watching us on YouTube can hear you as well.
Marilyn Savio, Glen Ridge Education Association. I just wanted to say thank you for, I know that some positions were rolled into the budget that were previously paid through ARP, and we recognize that and appreciate that. I do have a couple of questions that maybe I missed because it's a lot of information, a lot of numbers. And I did notice staff cuts were mentioned for $130,000, but I didn't catch where did that come from? What position or positions is that?
So usually,
I'm sorry, can you just ask all your questions and we'll get,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I
And
should've
then
said that.
the other thing I did not see mentioned that I know comes from another funding source is Title I. And are those positions not incorporated into the budget and therefore not continuing? Those are my questions.
As far as staff cuts, we don't list them at this time, what cuts they are, just because we may not have spoken to all the staff members, and it's a tentative budget at this time. Those are conversations that the building principals will have with the staff members. As far as Title I, our Title I funding was cut for next year, so there will not be Title I positions. Teachers will be assigned based on seniority.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
And I should have said, if you have questions or comments, please give them to us all at once so that we can take care of them in the order that you give them. Any other questions or comments?
I just wanted to say that when I present the proposed budget on April 30th, there'll be a presentation which will list the staff cuts, and that will go out prior on the Friday before the Tuesday meeting.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. We'll now go on with the rest of our agenda. We'll start with committee and liaison reports, and we'll start with our student representative. Dylan?
Hello, everyone. So, as Mr. Phillips mentioned earlier, all of our winter sports have recently ended, and that means, of course, that all of our spring sports are going to start getting underway with first captain's practices, and then in the next couple of weeks, we're going to have our first practices and first scrimmages of the season. Along with that, the Student Council is hosting a senior versus teacher and staff basketball game on Friday. Not calling anybody out in this room, but we would love to see good participation from our staff. And then going off of that, in the past couple of weeks, we have had some very successful club meetings and club-hosted events hosted by a number of different clubs. And also on behalf of all the student body, just like to congratulate the now dispersed staff members that were honored tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Dylan. Heather?
The curriculum committee hasn't met since our last Board of Ed meeting.
Okay. David?
The Personnel and Policy Committee has been busy. We've met more times than I can count, but Betsy gave the update on the superintendent search during her remarks, and I would not add to that. We have another meeting next week on regular business, I believe. The Finance and Facilities Committee has also met, I think, 3 times since the last meeting, and you heard the results of those meetings as well. And I would report as liaison to the marching band, but I have no report at this time. I will have Anthony can give some updates on the marching band. I have met with Dr. Gage 2 or 3 times, and we're fully engaged. We just haven't. I haven't met with the team yet.
Okay, Darius?
Central School, the next homeschool meeting is scheduled for Thursday, March 7th. That's the one update.
Okay. Jocelyn?
The negotiations committee has a meeting scheduled for March 14th with the administrative team. They've received their proposal, and we're going to continue talking about that. Grace is meeting virtually on March 13th That's the Glen Association for Special Education. So anyone who is interested in speaking about this, has a child who has an IEP or 504 plan and wants to speak to other parents, it's kind of a parent-to-parent meeting that evening. I'll be reporting on both the high school, middle school home and school association because I covered for Tricia, and then also the Ridgewood Avenue home and school meetings. So the high school, middle school HSA meeting occurred on February 23rd. You can mark your calendars that the next meeting will be March 22nd. We actually covered a lot of the same things that Mr. Phillips covered in his update about the upcoming musical productions, the end of the sports seasons. The one thing he didn't mention is that there is a middle school parent social coming up on April 4th, I believe, and there's also the Arts and Eco Fair is kind of underway in terms of planning, and that will be happening in May. Let me just go on to, so the Ridgewood Home and School Association met on March 1st, and the next meeting will be May 3rd. We covered a lot of thank yous and so on for the Discovery Program, which is coming to an end, the Lost and Found clearing out, Valentine's Day baskets. There's a book fair coming up next week, and there were big community service projects that we covered last week. And there's a New Jersey Devils game outing happening on March 23rd where people are going to be taking shots from the blue line, as well as the Traps Marketplace, which is coming up in April. So, again, lots of things to watch on the calendar, and that's about it.
Okay, Anthony?
So I'll start with GRAA. There's been requests about the status of the baseball field behind the high school, and Mr. Hill has informed me that that is being assessed, and the plan is to rehabilitate it for softball this spring. It won't be a complete rehab because since it's real grass, it can't be done in one season, but so that's on the agenda. From the Music Parents Association, there's several things have gone on. The spring fruit sale just ended and deliveries were last weekend. The next item is on the 16th and I would encourage everyone to come. The 16th is the fundraising pancake breakfast. That's an annual event, big fundraiser for the Music Parents Association, which funds a lot of the music program. There's a spring car wash on the 19th of May, and the jazz band will be performing at the Art Fest and Eco Fair on May 18th. There's a car wash on the 19th of May, and the jazz band is scheduled to go on their New Orleans trip from June 1st to June 4th.
Linden Avenue Home and School Association has not met. They will meet again on March 13th. So continuing. Tricia.
Jocelyn was nice enough to give the update for the middle school and high school because I could not attend due to illness. So thank you, Jocelyn.
Kristen.
Just a brief mention that we've already noted that the Arts and Eco Fair is coming up on May 18th, so the Glen Ridge Visual Arts Association will be participating in that. And for Gaslamp, I'm not able to pull up all of my notes, but I do believe that their next upcoming performance is Annie Junior, Annie for Kids, which I think is for the lower elementary grades. I want to say grades K through 4, 1 through 4, and those tickets should be on sale soon. I think that's happening in early May.
Okay, and Duval.
Okay, very quickly, the Educational Foundation will be meeting next Tuesday, the 12th of March, and hopefully we'll have something new to report after that. The Forest Avenue Home and School did not meet in February. Their next meeting is scheduled for March 25th, which will be a virtual meeting. But between now and my next report, we will have certainly heard about the great success of Soccerthon, which was last week. Coming up, they have a STEAM fair next week, as well as the second grade glow dance, one of my favorite activities at Forest, and that'll be on Friday the 15th. And that's all I have right now from Forest.
Thank you. I'm sorry?
I forgot something. Can I just
go ahead.
So I just wanted to share that both the middle school and high school HSA and the Ridgewood Avenue Home and School Association are looking for their board openings, and so they have vice president openings and treasurer openings. So if anyone is interested in getting involved on those executive committees, please reach out to the board presidents or the principals of those schools.
Thank you. Okay, you have in your packets minutes from the February 13th meeting, exec session and regular session. Does anyone have any changes to either set of minutes? Okay, if that is the case. David, would you move the minutes?
I'm going to move it for David. I move
Okay.
M1.
Moved by Heather. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Jocelyn. Barbara, would you call the roll?
Ms. Akinwande?
Aye.
Mr. Bonnet?
Aye.
Mr. Campbell?
Abstain?
Mr. Denard?
Yes.
Ms. Gottlieb?
Aye.
Ms. Graham?
Aye.
Ms. O'Neill? Dr. Yaris Ramos?
Aye.
Ms. Ginsburg?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Jocelyn, would you move the administrative items?
I move items A1 through A2.
May I have a second?
Second?
Second from David. Any questions from the board on the administrative items? All right. Barbara, would you call the roll?
Ms. Akinwande?
Aye.
Mr. Bonnet?
Aye.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mr. Denard?
Yes.
Ms. Gottlieb?
Aye.
Ms. Graham?
Yes.
Ms. O'Neill? Dr. Yaris Ramos?
Aye.
Ms. Ginsburg?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right. David, would you move the personnel items, including the addendum?
Yes. I move P1 through P7, including P1 and P4 on the addendum.
All right. May I have a second? Second from Anthony. In keeping with our rules and the board members' code of ethics, we discuss personnel matters in executive session. Therefore, Barbara, would you call the roll?
Ms. Akinwande?
Aye.
Mr. Bonnet? Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mr. Denard?
Yes.
Ms. Gottlieb?
Aye.
Ms. Graham?
Aye.
Ms. O'Neill? Dr. Yaris Ramos?
Aye.
Ms. Ginsburg?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Heather, would you move the curriculum items?
Sure. I move C1 and C2.
Okay. May I have a second?
Second.
Second from Jocelyn. Any questions on the curriculum items? Anthony, are you chaperoning the band to New Orleans?
I wish.
Okay. Okay. If there are no questions, Barbara, would you call the roll?
Ms. Akinwande?
Aye.
Mr. Bonnet?
Aye.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mr. Denard?
Yes.
Ms. Gottlieb?
Aye.
Ms. Graham?
Aye.
Ms. O'Neill? Dr. Yaris Ramos?
Aye.
Ms. Ginsburg?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. David, would you move the business items, including the budget?
I move B1 through B7, including the workshop B6 on the addendum.
Okay. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Duval. Any questions on the business items from the board? All right. Barbara, would you call the roll?
Ms. Akinwande?
Aye.
Mr. Bonnet?
Aye.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mr. Denard?
Yes.
Ms. Gottlieb?
Yes.
Ms. Graham?
Yes.
Ms. O'Neill? Dr. Yaris Ramos?
Aye.
Ms. Ginsburg?
Aye. And I should have mentioned that we accept with thanks the gift of Lysol, nitrile gloves, and hand sanitizer from the Essex County Office of Emergency Management with a value of $1,550. Thanks to the Office of Emergency Management, things that we can always use. And now, we have come very quickly to the second public comment period for questions or comments on agenda items or other items pertaining to the running of the schools. The same rules apply. Does anyone have a question or comment? Yes, step right up to the lectern, please.
I don't think it works.
It's a good idea to use your outdoor voice
I'm
anyway.
just going to try to talk really loud. Hi, my name is Silpa Patel. I have one child in the school system and one soon to enter. I would like to say what an honor it was to be here tonight to hear the celebration of all the wonderful teachers, two of whom, I'm sure I'm using correct English, my older son, had the privilege of having as teachers. So my hope is that in the future, we're going to be gathering here, and on that list will be some of the language teachers that we have yet to hire, and I hope that we will. So I was here in November about virtual Spanish, and from the interaction I had in November with the BOE, same meeting but in November, and then some side discussions with some of the BOE members, for which I'm grateful and thank you. I know that this is not a preference by the district. We heard that with the discussion of the budget. It's great to hear that, and of course the district is always responsive and it's nice. But these kids need better. They need to be ready for language classes once they hit 7th grade. I'm concerned that all of the children, especially those, I don't have a 6th grader, but those that are in 6th grade are not ready. Okay, so the reason I'm here is it's very personal. My son is not a complainer. He's very easygoing. I think it's fair to say he's probably one of the brightest in his grade. But that being said, he did complain about Spanish. And I thought, it's just Dylan, maybe being traumatic, you know. But in just the usual back and forth with other parents, it turns out Dylan is definitely not alone. And I think there are more parents here tonight compared to November, and that sort of reflects that. And I'm aware of a letter that's going to be submitted to the board. And on that, there are at least 120 signatures of GR residents. There are other residents not living in Glen Ridge, but that also just speaks to the concern. So what I did hear in the discussion about the budget is,
That's 2 minutes, if you can finish up.
Okay. So the amount of salaries, how does that compare to other districts? West Windsor, Baskin Ridge, Milburn. That's just a question of the salaries. But what I'm proposing is that the committee that is going to seek the teachers include parents that are not part of HSA so that their energy and time is focused, but that we can help the process. Like, what about other industries where they do on-the-job training, sort of outside the box? You know, take folks that maybe aren't trained in education but speak Spanish and put them through a program. I think we need to finish up, but we certainly, Mr. Phillips, you probably want to address some of that, but we certainly, the administration is always happy to have a dialogue about these things. So you can, you've probably spoken to Dr. Donovan already, yes? Just by email, not since November. So no, in fairness, I haven't. I think, I didn't know if it's better to come to the board first, but if you're saying I should go to Dr. Johnson. It's a good idea to just start with your building administrator. Okay. Mr. Phillips has an open door. He probably doesn't want me to say that, but start with your building administrator, see where you can go with that discussion, and then, you know, let us know how it goes, and you know, because languages are important to us. Obviously, our resources are finite, and we are looking, but I think a constructive dialogue with the building administrator is a good idea. Look, are there grants? I don't know. I'm not familiar with education. I'm a lawyer. Sure. So. Well, that's why we have building administrators, is to have a dialogue. You, some members of your group maybe who've signed your letter can go and make an appointment with Mr. Donovan to talk this out. Okay, yeah, I signed the letter. I didn't draft the letter, but yeah. Thank you. Okay, thanks.
Hello, I'm Courtney Williams, a proud parent of 2 Glen Ridge students, including one in 4th grade at Ridgewood. Really grateful to be part of this district, this town. My kids have learned so much from a lot of the teachers that were here today, including one who's still here. So really very, very happy with the education they're getting. There is this one area of Spanish language learning where I just don't think we're quite doing our best. We are a world-class, a high-performing district, and in this area, we're just not doing enough to prepare our children, my children, to be high-performing citizens of the world in this sense. This is exactly the age when I think, and so what I'm talking about is the 3rd through 6th grade, this is exactly the age when we should be getting them really excited about language, and instead I worry this virtual approach is actually doing the opposite. My son was very excited for the Spanish language club last year at Ridgewood, signed up, and then it was most of the time canceled at the last minute. Then this year he has virtual learning, and when I told him tonight that I was coming to just express my support for the ask for in-person learning, he was truly excited for me, and he's in 4th grade, so he believes this is important. So I'm here, I also signed the letter that Silpa mentioned, you'll see that shortly, and I'm just here to reiterate the ask for in-person Spanish language learning. Really encouraged to hear that that's underway earlier and a more dedicated process to do that. And we remain available as parents to assist or provide feedback in any way we can. Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions or comments? Okay, if there are none, the board needs to adjourn into exec session again, but we finished with the business for this evening. So thank you all for coming. And I know that the issues you've discussed will continue to be discussed. Thank you.
I motion to move into
May I
executive
have a motion
session.
to go into exec? You made it.